and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the arena, we look at what I consider the big bad of the current format. Yes, the whole ladder, the whole meta, in fact, seems to have turned black, but black probably shouldn't be rolling solo because it definitely gets upgrades just by slipping in a few red cards. 10 red cards, in this case, that can make a huge difference across the board in a number of matchups and make what seems to be a very hard to deal with mid-range style of best of one deck, something that in the past has been very hard to do. Usually mid-range falters, fails against extreme aggro and extreme control, and just having unspecific answers, cards that are generally good but not good enough for each matchup, would doom the deck. But this Rakdos deck doesn't have that problem. All the cards are very good on their own, they produce value, and they turn those cards that are not haymakers or not great for a specific situation into cards that are good in that situation very easily, using Fable of the Mirror Breaker, using blood tokens, using Liliana of the Veil for that effect. And so first and foremost, let's go over the new cards. There aren't a ton in this specific build. There is one cut down over here and one evolved sleeper, which we introduced in the mono black video. Very good mana sink, so I think a decent one of. Then we have 3 Liliana of the Veil, which we introduced in the mono black video. We also have 3 Sheldred the Apocalypse, also introduced in the mono black video. You have probably seen these if you've played the meta at all, a good amount already. In the mana base, we do get a little help. The departure of the Pathway is replaced by Sulphurous Springs, which is arguably even better in this specific deck. If there's one thing I've learned from comments and live streaming the new set, there's a lot of weakness out there. And what I mean is freaking babies about Painlands. Like, they're like just terrified. The idea of taking 1 damage to make a mana. Oh, it's so tilting to some of you. Weak. 10 push-ups right now. Over there in the corner of the dojo. You can rejoin the class when you complete them, and stop whining about a little poke of damage to make your mana nice and smooth, okay? Besides, we're going to gain it all back. We've got lots of ways to gain life in this specific deck. First and foremost, I'm running 4 copies of the Meat Hook Massacre. Let me introduce one of the principles I'm developing about this format as I get used to this format. Number 1, spot removal much worse, sweepers better. It used to be that sweepers were bad and spot removal was really good, especially when it came to control decks, because people were playing around sweepers very effectively. But the current situation I'm finding is that it's not that people play around sweepers less effectively or more effectively. It's nothing to do with it. It's that everything makes a body. There are always bodies on the battlefield. You always need some kind of a sweeper effect. So in best of 1, I'm running all 4 copies of the Meat Hook Massacre. Lots of these builds are probably going to run 2, 3. I think it's so important to always have one of these on the board. Oh, by the way, we're pretty much metagaming for mirrors, and I'm considering mono black mirror-ish. So mono black and Rakdos. So having a hook on the battlefield is always important. It eats a hit from Invoke Despair. It offsets life loss both from your own underdogs and the opponents. Like, you want to always have a hook. So I'm going 4 of them. I think that that's one of the changes you can make to make the deck a little better for the current situation of the meta. The other is spot removal. You don't need as much. Bloodtithe Harvester is like a creature that attacks for 3 but is also a removal spell. Liliana is a planeswalker that you can use to turn your dead cards into cards in the opponent's hands, but it's also a removal that sacrifices a creature effect, being very effective, especially against cards like Graveyard Trespasser with Ward, which is why I'm not running as many. So yeah, Invoke Despair, obviously that removes stuff, but it only hits what you want it to hit if they don't have a bunch of little tokens running around, hence 4 Meat Hooks. So I'm only running 1 Voltage Surge and 1 Cut Down and 2 Infernal Grasp. 2 Infernal Grasp because your removal needs to hit what it absolutely needs to hit. For example, you can hit cut downs on all the tenacious underdogs you want to, they keep coming back. When Sheldred the Apocalypse lands, your Voltage Surge won't do it. Your Cut Down won't do it. This thing has to die. So we have a few more Infernal Grasps than we have these effects. And yep. This card, by the way, it's all over the place, and if it sticks for a turn cycle or 2, you're probably going to die. So you've got to remove it, or you have to land it in a situation where it will survive, and you're probably in great situation. Obviously, the combination with Invoke Despair is disgusting, right? You can gain so much life and totally swing a game when you have these cards. So obviously, the apocalypse is upon us, and we love it. 1 Ob Nixilis, 3 Lilianas, 2 Sorens. Good Planeswalker mid-range game plan to go with the threats that can just beat the opponent to death. 1 little Bank Buster, because sometimes I did find the deck needing a bit of raw card advantage, and in a mirror where you have your Bank Buster and they don't, sometimes that can be enough to change the game. All right, Rakdos, the black meta, the darkness of evil all over the meta. It is really mid-rangey. Mid-range Grindfest mirrors aren't for everyone. I have a feeling this will be a pretty grindy video. I do have ideas, plans on how to go over the top of these mid-range decks with control builds that aren't currently seen in the meta. In fact, I've been working on one all weekend. It's done most of my ranking, but it didn't make sense to put that video out before we really dissected the enemy, which is why I play all kinds of decks, not just the ones that I build, but ones that have become very meta. I like to explore the meta, then destroy the meta, if that makes sense. So don't worry. If you're sick of Rakdos, there are definitely ways through it. The current conundrum is that the aggro decks, I don't think the 5-color decks are going to get adopted. Too whaley, too niche of a strategy. They're never going to be the most popular thing. So people turn to Boros, mono red, mono white, and those are what you will mostly find, taking up platinum. But Sheldred the Apocalypse specifically, and mono black / Rakdos quickly rose up into Diamond and Mythic because they absolutely farm those aggro decks. The next step for the meta is for some kind of a control deck or a ramp deck or a go big strategy to farm this mid-range deck, but it's proving to be much more powerful than expected. So we'll get to farming it in a minute. Now, before we totally get into the game, I do need to shout out some patrons. Thank you. I have too many patrons. It's a backlog of shout outs. So I'm doing at least 3 a video while I get through the backlog. Thank you so much. If you want to sign up, a link in description, and there is a tier where if you're a US resident, I can send you a shark token for only $9.99. So that's pretty cool. You might want one. The shark tokens are limited. They will not be printed again, and I have a few boxes left in my closet, but then they're gone. So today's video, shout out Janik Maran Retcon. It's really spelled like that with a bunch of A's. Jeremy Nelson, you guys are very cool. Also, How to Typo. I did do a video shout out to you before, but apparently missed that video. So don't worry. If you miss your shout out, you can always ask, just say something on the Patreon, and all you'll get is just a little bit of shade, a little bit of comment shade for not watching every video. But How to Typo, here's your backup shout out. And you guys, thank you so much for the support. You're very cool. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Yo guys, quick break in to my own video to let you know that the Covert Go Blue playmats are back in stock. So if you wanted to get yourself a little something to celebrate my birthday, these beautiful playmats give you +10 luck on MTG Arena when used as a mousepad, and +10 shuffler bonus at your local game store. Those things are just statistical facts guaranteed. Check out lanterngames.com. Products, official Covert Go Blue playmats. There should be a link below in the description. We only bring in 100 of these at a time, and they're ready to ship wherever they need to be shipped. So get yours today, because once they're gone, they'll be gone again for a long time. And thank you very much to everybody who checks it out. Now back to the video. Well, this hand will be good if my opponent plays aggro. Nobody in Diamond plays aggro, but we're gonna put it to the test because it's a hard one to mulligan. Okay, looks good for Meat Hook Massacre, doesn't it? All right, Rakdos, Anvil maybe. Yep, Anvil, why not? Looks very good for Meat Hook Massacre. The most boring deck that Wizards has created in a while here on the board. This should be fun, question mark. All right, turn 3 Planeswalker, Ob Lily. That's what the opponent needs. Double Anvil, okay. Don't get me wrong, double Anvil will be a pain. But we can probably endure. Let's get a Fable going. Raids is nasty, but it looks like we're going to get to keep our Goblin. Opponent did not attack. That's weird. Usually you can just charge in. All right, what's not good? Cut down's not good. And then I think everything else is fine. I don't know if Braids wants to block this. Probably not. Being the one with the hook is a really good offset to all this anvil drama. Alright, they do have another blood token, so they get to restart the party. Do we make them restart it again? They're missing land drops. So I am very confident that they don't have an artifact problem. I think we see if Sheldred can last. A Sheldred on the field could be a big problem for them. All that life gain and damage. Double Harvester, 1 blood token. They need another. They're going to get rid of the reflection, though. Infernal Grasp, huh? Do we play a hook for 2? Yeah, and hold up Grasp. I like it. Actually, we could get this other Fable going, couldn't we? It's not like we're in a ton of damage, a ton of danger yet, and the sooner we get the draw effect from the Fable, the better. Yeah, let's get this cooking. If the opponent has another blood token, they might kill this Goblin because everybody tries to kill this Goblin. They did draw land number 4. They have the Braids, of course they do. Do we kill the Braids? We could just sacrifice this creature. If we sacrifice the creature, they don't draw, and then next turn we hook for 3, which we were going to lose this creature anyway. Last time they didn't attack in this spot, now they do. Voltage Surge, probably, so we can't engage with Sheldred. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Trigger, trigger. All right, my turn. Backup Sheldred is pretty good. But would I rather have the life? Nah, if they can't beat 1, just keep a second one. Why not? What are they going to do? Block this? If they block this with everything, they lose Braids and 2 tokens. Then we just play a second one? That's pretty cool. Do it. Do it. Send them all in front. Death touch, baby. No hook necessary. You thought you were safe. You're not safe. All the way back up to 16. Ob? Well, that's a pain. But with enough life gain, it's not that scary.
Finally, a new conquest. Go ahead. Plead for mercy. Pleasure doing business with you.
Trigger, trigger, trigger. Opponent doesn't have mana for a voltage surge, so attacking with Sheldred means that we are going to get one of these to block. Blitz in an underdog. Hook for 1 does get 3 points in. Not enough mana to also blitz an underdog, though. I think we're better off playing Sorin and making a lifelinker. Opponent found the line. Might see a voltage surge on that lifelinker, but we'll see. Life total is just bouncing up and down. Between red and black decks, when did they become the life gain colors, huh?
Go ahead. Plead for mercy. Your punishment is my entertainment.
Opponent's done a good job so far getting rid of the reflections of Kiki Jiki. We'll see if there's an answer this time. Ooh, the Harvester. I mean, without a red source, maybe not. Blood token sacks, discard swamp, make creatures, draw a card, get drained. Okay. That's a good draw. I was going to copy the lifelinker, but this is a really good card to copy, isn't it? They take out their Harvester. How about hook for 1, copy this Harvester, kill their Harvester. They have no creatures. Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Blood for knowledge, a fair trade.
Does this resolve? Get rid of you. Hook you for 1. 1 whittle hook. Yeah, I mean, you can't drain out a Sheldred that sticks to the battlefield, and the current versions of Anvil don't have enough ways to kill it. It's just chilling. All right, 1 ob down.
How dare you destroy what I built?
So the opponent can hook this board pretty well if they have it. Here comes a devil.
My goons will make quick work of you.
Did you find a way to kill the Sheldred? Eaten alive. All right, got there. The Sheldred tyranny might be over. Now the opponent needs a meat hook to clean the rest of it up. Another anvil. 3 anvils and a scoop? I guess not. Know your enemy. Do you know your enemy? You gotta know your enemy. We are the enemy. Although playing Rakdos is kind of fun. Obviously, it just gets a little... When you see too much of it, anything can be the enemy. Is blue-white control like ever the enemy? Maybe in Explorer, some people consider blue-white control the enemy. It's been a long time since it was the most popular standard deck. The last time we were in Dominaria, actually. Do you remember? Blue-white control. versus Steamkin Mono Red. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. All right, our opponent's looking Jundi. That is kind of also like a mid-range mirror. Very similar here to what we're going up against. All right, we could drop Liliana, take out the Harvester, or we can drop the Fable, start getting ahead that way. If we drop the Fable, the opponent will probably either play their own Fable or try to deal with our little token maker. I think we attack. That I am sure about. Let's be the aggressor here. And then I'm gonna play my Fable. Opponent might just use their Harvester to get rid of the Goblin Shaman. That's fine. That sets Liliana up to take out the next thing that they play. There it is. Do you have a Fable? Exile? You bugger. All right, what do we need to do here? Probably going to play second Fable. I could just keep everything. I don't know, against Jund, is Infernal Grasp any good? They might have a Sheldred, but if they do, we have a Liliana, so we don't need it. But we always need a hook, don't we? Gotta have a hook ready to go. We're in a good position if we were to top deck and invoke Despair. All right, you Painland whiners. Boom. I recovered. I'll be fine. It's not that bad. I'll double Fable in the mirror. On the play. Should be a really tough look for Jund. The Riveteer's outlooks tell us that they probably run Soul of Windgrace. 5/4 creature that brings a land back from the graveyard to the battlefield. I like that card. We are definitely going to play it in the future. Do I need more Lilianas? I do not think I do. I also do need a 5th land, but I'm sure I'll draw one. Surge is not a great draw. Opponent removal spell on Gabo? Nope. All right, I'm gonna play the Liliana. I'm gonna discard this Voltage Surge. We're just gonna have this hook up our sleeve.
Those who get in my way tend to regret it.
We don't have many cards left in hand, so if we can take out the opponent's cards, that's good for us. They probably have a hook. And they probably want to use it this next turn. So they'll probably kill these. But that means we untap plus Lily again. We get more cards from their hand. Maybe we get our hook down before we plus. A Soul Transfer on the Underdog, though. If we had an Underdog, life would be better. Whoa. No, they did the thing. The combo with the Titan. No. Oh, no. Cruelty of Gix. Read ahead. Pulling Titan out of the graveyard after the discard to the blood token. That's busted. That's so busted. All right, the good news is we can at least kind of deal. The bad news is we have to blow up our own board to do it. Wrecked, and then we're down to nothing. But we'll hope they don't have much either. So we can hook for 4, and then Liliana can make the Titan get sacked. Now we just have to hook for 2. And it's Liliana versus 3 cards in hand. If the opponent has another Cruelty, wrecked. They're doing a good job going over the top of our Rakdos Midrange strategy. Junji gets back the Titan, doesn't it? That is messed up. So what do I have to draw? An Exile effect? I don't have any. All right. I guess I have to like somehow rip consecutive Invoke Despairs or something. Yeah, they went over the top very effectively of our deck. They out mid-range the mid-range deck. This format needs a control deck bad. Just how many reanimators? I guess you have Cruelty and you have Junji. These are reanimation effects on like very powerful 5 mana cards. Is that better than Invoke
I'm
Despair?
not interested in
Probably.
dying today.
I'm out. I can't beat that. Like, there's no series of top decks that gets me out of this. 2 drops. We got those. Red source, we got that. Okay, another swamp off the top. About as bad a top deck as you could script. No more, please. We've drawn the perfect amount. No more. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's get you down. We might want to discard the underdog to the blood token, depending what we draw. Opponent is on the play. They're going to clear our harvester with their harvester. Down for a 1-for-1 trade because they have Fable. We do not. We do not. Yeah, hold on to your butts in that spot. And when the opponent sees we don't have a Fable, they're like, oh, we're winning this game. They discard a hook. Hope that means they have another. Gotta deal with it. Card's too good. The ramp just becomes dominating. Yeah, but I mean, it is a little bit of a trap there when you come up against Grixis. Corpse Appraiser, exile the underdog, get a new card. I mean, we can hope they can't deal with Sheldred, which I guess is basically where we're at in this game. We're gonna need a Meat Hook or an Invoke Despair to deal with the Fable. Speaking of Invoke Despair, I have been playing for 4 games. I haven't drawn a single one. Not once. So we could also play the Sorin and plus. I think we just put our opponent to the test here with Sheldred. Make them have an answer to it. Maybe they don't. This thing can stabilize a whole battlefield, as we've seen, if it's not killed and not everybody is running removal for it. A lot of voltage surges in this meta. Yep. My grave. Would you get away from my corpses? Ooh, they just binned a Sheldred. And they pass. All right. We might lose our Sheldred to a voltage surge, but I think the opponent would have attacked last turn if they had that. We're way down in the cards game, and we just got our Despair invoked because our opponent drew it. We still haven't drawn one in 4 games. Which I gotta say, not great. All right, let's play this. Let's plus. We gotta dig. We gotta get back in this game somehow. And let's play out this underdog. The only way to kind of beat Invoke Despairs here is to have things to sacrifice so the opponent's not just drawing through their deck and drawing more Invoke Despairs. They'll never flood out. Blood tokens are too good. That's their 3rd Corpse Appraiser. Definitely feels like they have the better Invoke Despair list since, you know, we don't draw them. Another hook. Interesting. Nice. Do we hook for 3 here? I think so.
Times call for dire tactics.
Again, we just have to, like, you have to absorb their next Invoke Despair. The 4th Corpse Appraiser, why not? Shuffler's fine. Yeah, in the top half of their deck, all 4. But we still have Sorin. Sorin is giving it a go here. How deep in the deck can we go without finding a single Invoke Despair. Like, how far can we actually go? By the way, they're an 8. They have to get rid of this Sorin here. And I think they probably have a way. They have 6 cards in hand. But let's block like this so that we don't lose Shelter to a hook. Or a Voltage Surge. We've got him at 6. Dude, it's...
When I win, your turn. I've always hated.
We do have him at 5. If we drew an Invoke Despair, it would probably be enough to end the game. If they have their own Sheldred, though, they're going to gain that life back. Yeah, Fable's good insulation from Invoke Despair.
A delay, nothing more.
I've drawn over 80 cards from this deck. 4 games. Not one of them has been our key card. Not one.
You work for me now, Runt. Is power. Plead for mercy.
It's there. It's in the deck. It's in the deck. You're telling me where there's a chance. All right. Yeah, you're dead now. You are destroyed. You have no freaking chance. Yeah, do something about it. Do it. Both of the 1-mana removal spells, by the way. Let's see if they actually have a good target, if they do anything. I might just pitch them to Fable. Woof. I mean, not really what you want to target with the underdog with, is it? Sleeper has more long-term value. Let the underdog hang out. I might honestly chuck these. They just do so much nothing. Trespasser's scary. Hook. Hook's better. Yep. Goodbye. Level. We can level this. Oh, we attack if the Trespasser blocks. We can hook for 2. Grow this. No, we don't have enough mana. Regardless. Maybe we just hook for 1 and kill the Trespasser. Just hook for 2 and clear the board so that the Invoke hits harder. Doesn't sound bad. I would like to keep my little sleeper. Look for 1. The underdog just comes back anyway. Doesn't really do it. Not in a hurry to grow this either. Rather get the tap land out of the way so that despair can happen. Maybe I don't even have to give up my treasure. I'm at 23. This is fine. Meat hook 2? Yep. Let them meat hook themselves. Sweet. Empty board. We're gonna draw 2 and get their hook off the board. Untap maybe with a reflection. Of course, they might just invoke despair right back. That is a card. That thing has to die. By any frickin' means necessary. Behold my skills. All right, hope the opponent doesn't have another meat hook. It really was just a hook trade that didn't wipe our own board. So continuing to make the meat hook massacre 4 of call look nice. Yeah, that's it for our reflection, but it got to do a thing. No! All right, we need another blood token. Ooh, do we try to draw? Oh, this sucks. All right. They can't block this. That's Mr. Brightside. They can't block this. But drawing cards is going to gain them so much. And it's going to hurt us. We might have to... Okay. Another hook. Easy, but too bad we're on end step. Infernal Grasp would have been really nice there. Underdog comes back. Just you, huh? You're gonna draw this card no matter what, and we're gonna hook this board no matter what. I'll take that block. It would have been nice not to have to hook for 5, but I think the life total is important here. Okay, yay, more fuel for the hook. Do not use the blood while the apocalypse is on the field. It hurts. Okay. Hang on to that treasure. You never know when you need a little mana boost. All right, don't follow up with another apocalypse, please. Okay, Sorin. You can pressure Sorin, I think.
I bring order.
Make a vampire, sure.
You fight for me now.
Beautiful. So if I attack with the underdog, the opponent will block probably. All right. And that gets us another card from Invoke Despair and 2 more life loss, although they gain 2. Let's go, baby. We found them. We found the Invoke Despairs. So good. They're very low on life to be bringing out underdogs. Especially while I have a hook and they don't. Okay. Did that. Yep. Yep. Let's go. Opponent is fearless. So they're at 5. If we put them any lower, let's they're gonna have a hard time bringing underdogs back, so let's hit them like this.
Right? And you think you can... Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
Yeah, keep it coming. How are you gonna get that underdog back now? And if you cast Invoke Despair, we completely absorb it. They don't draw any cards. You kill any of my things, you die. Next turn we play Sheldred, and if you draw a card, you die. All right. Hook to offset hook, but last in, first out. If it's your turn, the opponent's hook trigger resolves first. Game. We be sleeping, but we have Invoke Despair. Oh my gosh, though, the basic mountain. The crybabies of the dojo. Any whining about this Painland, in the corner, push-ups. Obviously, you've never worked out because you're unfamiliar with the concept of no pain, no gain. Opponent with a mountain. Red, green. Ooh, what are you up to? 3-2 trample. Got it. Want to trade? I didn't really want to anyway. Woof. Stormseeker, here they come. I mean, I'm guessing that there's just going to be a swing here, but I'd be tempted to increase this one and just attack with this one, because Stormseeker is very valuable. Handing out haste to other creatures can be absolutely powerful. So Liliana the Veil can get rid of the one creature on our opponent's side, and then we can save this to block a haste creature to plus her, but I don't really want to plus her. Don't tell the opponent. We could also get the board set up a little bit better, but then if there's another creature and we draw another Liliana, we can't hit it with the sacrifice effect. So yeah, let's just clear the board.
When I win. Off you
I
go.
guess I do want to protect her. I just really hope I don't have to chump for her. I mean, does this look like a Liliana stand for you? I mean, yeah. Oh, Squee, that's a good one. That gets around it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. A token at Lily? I mean, we could save Lily, but to what end? We want all these cards. I don't have to block for you. Nope. Sorry. I will not. This is not a Lily simp.
Fine. I'll take my zombies and leave.
All right. So now what? The mana efficient play is the Sorin, and the 2/3 lifelinker is probably a problem for the opponent, but the other mana efficient play is Trespasser and evolve the sleeper so it can take these on. I think that's better, although it's tempting to save the Trespasser for eating the Squee, because eventually that could come up. However, if we keep the opponent's graveyard small, then if they have a small yard, then we don't have to worry about Squee. Like, Squee's not coming back if there's nothing down there, you know? So we do like this. And now we're going to try to switch to the control role, because we should be able to have a lot more resources than our opponent. That's terrifying. That is a huge problem. Yeah, Helana and Elena, if it stays, is going to outscale our meat hook by a lot. So what we need to draw like a meat hook this turn? Or we need a Death Toucher to pair off against it. So I guess we need to keep our sleeper and take this. That's a Death Toucher. That is a Death Toucher. Let's do it. Invoke Despair, no good. What are you going to do with that? Okay. Do we take it? Do we take it? We're going to gain so much life back. I think we can. Of course, that's lightning strike range. All right. Trespasser, you're going down. I want to hang on to the sleeper because it can also gain Death Touch, which, you know, that might be huge here. That's a lot of life. Another Invoke Despair and a Meat Hook. Awesome. But no land. Opponent did nothing. That's kind of sus. But they're down to 10 just from the Sheldred triggers. They don't have a life gain source, and we do. Kui just keeps coming. I mean, if they can't get rid of it, I'm gonna keep her on the field. It's too good not to. And they're just not doing anything. Give it to them again. Give them the business. This is everything you wanted when you build the deck. Sheldred into Invoke Despair into Invoke Despair. Yes, please. Trigger, trigger. Still not attacking. There might be a lightning strike. I'm almost certain that there is. Just keeping Sheldred out of that lightning strike range. Yeah, nice. They certainly flooded out a bit from that position, but something was holding priority, and I'm confident if Sheldred ever had 2 damage on her, she would have died. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and the meta is evolving and changing day by day. Every day that goes by, the meta changes a little bit more against the mono black build, and it's now shifting into Rakdos for the extra value that red provides. And then you saw in this video the extra value that green or blue provide. You saw that Corpse Appraiser really helped the opponent make sure that they had their Invoke Despairs and we didn't. We saw that Titan through Cruelty of Gix on turn, it was either 4 or 5, but an early Titan is just something that the mid-range decks can't overcome. Those are the next level strategies that really help defeat the Rakdos deck that is currently shutting down the aggro decks that quite frankly, the latter has always loved in Best of One, and probably making things very frustrating out there for the toilet gamers of our era. So Rakdos is an important deck to understand. I think that if you want to play Rakdos, a build close to this is good. You might even cut these cards completely. The 1-drops did not impress. It's kind of a joke that they were in there. Never even drew the Bankbuster in X mini games. When you draw Invoke Despair and the land to cast it, you tend to win. I think if I made one change to this deck right now, I would cut these, cut down, and the Surge just out, and I just add 2 more lands. Just make sure you draw your land. If you get your land, you can always discard them to blood tokens, you can always discard them to Fable, but as long as you get your land and get to cast your spells, you're favored in just about every game. So, yeah. Big fan of the black strategies, but I am confident you need more colors. And Rakdos is a good place to start, but then you shift that into Grixis or you shift that into Jund and you go over the top of the Rakdos strategies. Now, if those go big strategies become too popular, maybe those aggro decks rise up and take advantage of their tricolored land and nonsense of that nature. So we're going to use the outro here to get a little bit indulgent, classic. We're going to get into some fan art. What? No, what are you talking about, dude? But yeah, that's kind of where we're at here. I'm going to review a planeswalker of me. Somebody made me into a planeswalker. So if I can get it on screen here, that would be nice. Boom, there we go. Did it. Content. The one in Best of One legendary planeswalker, Covert. Go blue. Sweet fan art, by the way. It's been around for a while, but shout out to Waffles wherever you are. 2 and a blue-white for loyalty. As CGB enters the battlefield, you get an emblem with "You may play cards exiled with the one in Best of One." Just reading it sounds fun. The +1, draw a card. Yes. Perfect. You may exile a card from your hand. If you don't, untap a land. So a cool little option that you get some ramp, or you know, you may exile a card from your hand. If you don't untap it, that's weird because the +1 is draw a card. Of course I don't. I just untap a land. Why would I exile a card from my hand? Because that you may play cards exiled with it. Okay. I mean, I know, but why would I exile it then if I could play it? Anyway, you may exile X other non-land permanents you own. At the beginning of your next end step, return them to the battlefield. Yorion! Very nice. -8, you get an emblem with non-creature spells you control cost 1 less to cast. You may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash. That's awesome. I would make that about a -7 or -6 though, because if you're giving up your Planeswalker, that plus is to draw a card, and you're getting a non-game ending emblem, you want it a little sooner. I mean, otherwise nobody's ever gonna even bother to read it. And the other thing that I would do is I think that what it's supposed to be is exile a card from your hand and then you untap a land, as opposed to you may exile a card from your hand, you can just choose not to, and you still get to untap a land. I think that's supposed to be a cost. It's all like a plus. It's all like benefit. There's no cost benefit, in my opinion. Maybe I'm missing something, but still cool. Appreciate the fan art, Disco. Awesomely done. And yeah, thanks so much. Brian did the art, huh? Thanks, Brian. All right. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. You are cool.